like to discuss with you mobility devices or an assistive device for walking. So I have 3 to demonstrate for you today: a straight cane, crutches, and a standard walker. And of course, there's all different forms, but these are 3 very common assistive devices that we use in physical therapy. And I teach the use of these every day in my field, but sometimes we have patients or clients that really aren't interested in having someone come into their home to show them the proper way to utilize these devices. So I thought today I would show you how to use these devices, also how to fit them, because the way that your device is fitted for your body will help prevent further injury to other things like shoulders, even your brachial plexus. You have a lot of nerves up in the shoulders, and you wouldn't want crutches to interfere with that. So the first one that I'm going to go over is the use of a straight cane. So with a cane, you always have the ability to adjust, and I went ahead and adjusted this cane to my height. So I'm pretty small. I'm like 5 foot, 5'1" on a good day. What you want is the cane to be right at your wrist. So the inside of your wrist is the proper measurement for you. You want just a very slight elbow bend for when you're walking. You don't want that elbow completely locked out, and you don't want it too high, because if you notice, whenever I have this cane higher, it's putting pressure up here on my shoulder. It's rounding it front. So we want more of a relaxed use of that cane. And when you use a cane, you always want it in the opposite hand of where your injury is. So here, my cane is in my right hand, so my left leg would be the problem area. So whenever you walk, you advance the cane and the foot, and you step. Or from a side view, again, nice relaxed shoulder with a very small bend in the elbow, the cane in the foot, and you step up to it, cane in the foot, and you step up to it. Or you can step through. So we want to always alternate. It's that reciprocal gait pattern. So the second one I would like to show you is crutches. And again, the proper fitting is so important in that we want about 3 fingers width underneath the armpit where the crutches are. It's so important to not put pressure up into the armpit. This can pinch down on your nerves and your blood supply up in the shoulder and through that thoracic area. And unfortunately, I've seen in the past some patients that they put so much pressure and they had the crutches way up in, and they always lean down into their crutches, and it caused such an injury up here that they had to have this treated after their leg was healed. So again, with our crutches, we want to make sure that it's not up tucked underneath that armpit, but we have that space and we have a slight bend in that elbow. We don't want these handles too far down. These again are adjustable. I had to fit them for my size, which is pretty small, so I had to bring them all the way up to the top, and then the crutches all the way down to the lowest point. So with crutches, a lot of times we'll be maybe non-weight bearing on one side, or we might be partial weight bearing, just allowed to put a little bit of weight in. So how we advance with our crutches is we either swing through, so we keep that one foot up, we take our crutches front, and we swing through. From that side view, we have that one foot up, crutches, and we swing through. So all of my weight is in my hands and not up in those armpits, because it's very dangerous because of all that blood supply. So the next mobility aid or assistive device that I want to show you is a walker. So this is a standard walker. There are not any wheels. It's just standard. So you have to pick it up and you have to place it in front of you. So with the wheeled walker, we're able to just push and walk. And this is a lot better for balance. So let's say someone who has had a fall, was in the hospital, very deconditioned, and a wheeled walker is much better for someone who doesn't have that upper extremity strength. So someone who has had the flu, or they've had pneumonia, they've been sick for a couple months, they had to go into the hospital for, let's say, a week, and then they had to go to a rehab facility. They're not quite as strong in their upper extremities. So it's better to have a wheeled walker. With this one, this has to be advanced. We move it forward, we place all 4 points down, and we step up into it. So a very common problem with the walker is people will put 2 points down and they walk into it. You want to make sure that we place all 4 points down and then we step up into it. And also make sure that we don't step through, because that puts me off balance and I could fall backwards. So again, for a fitting for the walker, it's right at the inside of my wrist. So whenever I hang my arms down, it's right at the inside, because if it was higher, my shoulders would be rounded front, and we want to make sure that there's just a little bit of a bend, and we put the weight into those hands as we step up through. So your assistive device selection is dependent on your weight bearing status, so how much weight you're allowed to put into your extremity. Also, your balance, so your ability to stay upright. If you don't need a lot of stability, if you're better off with your balance, you could use a cane. But if your balance is a little bit off, you might need to utilize a walker. And also your cognitive ability, so your ability to understand kind of how to utilize that device. I've had patients where they'll actually carry the walker or they'll carry the cane instead of using it and placing it. And that can be a little bit tricky, because then the assistive device is not providing that assistance, it's actually providing an increased risk for falls. So that is something very important to kind of take into consideration. So providing this video, it just gives you a little bit of an idea where things need to be. That way you protect, your body in the meantime while you're utilizing your devices.